thing. I'm usually on Facebook or something like that. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Donovan Saadiq. I'm the recovering Democrat. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, what is going on with the new black media? And what I want to say is this. You see Demetra and I on our show there with the Demetra K show. You see us doing all these different things, and different platforms are doing different things. The election, excuse me. Ooh, that tea was something else. The election's over. So the election's over. Everybody's like, okay, why do you guys keep spiking the ball? Damn it, Kamala lost. Give it up and all this stuff. Hey, Maureen, how are you? Uh, and you have some really, really, really crashed out losers out there. If they had won, it'd be all in our faces, right? But now we won, and we're just supposed to be silent, like, oh well, what's the big? Y'all just keep bringing it up, whatever the deal is. No, what it is we don't want people to go back to sleep. Winning one battle doesn't mean you win a war. The biggest mistake the civil rights era people made was not continuing the revolution. When they started killing off all the black leaders and things like that, then we get these milk toast type leadership people like Jesse Jackson and Reverend Al Sharpton and all these people that just live off uh, uh, the the hurt of black people, the deaths of black people, all this stuff. These women, mothers of the movement. What movement? Notice that once the Trayvon thing, which was very tragic, stopped, the mothers of the movement. How many of you guys remember the mothers of the movement put out a record? How many of you guys remember that? They're trying to make money off of the death of black people. This is what these people do, and it's just a damn shame. Uh, Ben Crump, ambulance chaser, he makes money off of black people's pain and suffering, and that's where we're at. We don't have real leaders that are unapologetic and gonna go out there and tell it like it is. But people are now learning. People are seeing it on the wall. I say it all the time, and I'm going to continue to say it. I'm from California. The playbook of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is what they did here in California. You gentrify the areas, you move black people out, and you marginalize them. You marginalize them politically, you marginalize them economically, and you push them out. Black people in LA, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 people on the city council in LA. You can't even run. When was the last black mayor of California? Tom Bradley. Black people, we do not have enough black people in California anymore to where we have a voice. Where did they put a $6 billion football stadium? In a marginalized, historically black community, and moved 60% of the residents out so that they could build a $6 billion stadium so that rich people could watch their teams and have a place to go and all of the other stuff. This is in like Compton. This is near South Central Los Angeles, near Inglewood and Inglewatts, as I would call it, things like that. This is the playbook. So everybody says, why do you guys keep talking about this? Because we don't want you guys to fall asleep. If Kamala Harris had won this election, black people would still be asleep right now. Now, a lot of people have woken up and they're saying, well, wait a minute, hold up. What do you mean she lost? She's 20 million in the hole after raising almost $2 billion. People keep forgetting about the $1 billion super PACs. $2 billion spent, nothing to show for it, lost badly. This is why we keep talking about this. But my issue is this, and this is what I try to tell people. And a lot of us, like I said, you guys see Demetra on Fridays. She does her own thing where she speaks on her own. I might join her every now and then, but she speaks on her own. And we're just gonna keep you guys thinking about different things about what's going on, right? So I've been thinking about this, and I was talking to my good friend of mine this morning, and we got in a good discussion, and he was saying, well, there's certain things you shouldn't talk about. It should be like politics and religion. That is the worst thing to tell a black person. Okay. I can understand religion because if you're a Muslim or you're a Christian and, everybody believes differently and how that is. And that has to do with a spiritual aspect of how people are going to live their lives. Right. politics is something you should be talking about. Look at how many people voted for symbolism. They voted for a DEI hire. They voted for a woman that had no plan. Politics needs to be talked about more so people know what the issues are. But they tell you, oh, you shouldn't talk about politics, whatever it is, because it's divisive. Yes, it is divisive. But do you see how many people voted for their own demise and was very, very ignorant in how they voted? Well, I'm just and you ask them, why are you voting as a Democrat? Well, God, well, that's the party of the people. Well, where? Show me how are they the party of the people? And they can't answer. Politics needs to be discussed more within our families and within our community because the reason that it's not discussed is the same reason Black people are now a permanent underclass economically in this country because we don't know what the hell, we're voting for our own demise. Maxine Waters is sitting in office, just recently got reelected, and she has nothing to show for over 30 years in politics. This is why we need to start talking about politics within ourselves. Hey, CJ. Hey, Mr. D. I agree that's the problem. I studied poli-sci in undergrad, and a lot of folks called it boring. Yeah, I'm a political junkie. And it's just amazing if you talk to somebody, they don't even know what's going on. Some people didn't even know Joe Biden had dropped out of the election. But they just whoever the Democrats who I'm voting for, and then these are the same people that complain about why the border is open. Where are all these illegals coming from? Well, do you know what the Democratic policy is in regards and what they're trying to do? They're trying to marginalize Black people by bringing all of these new voters in because now Black people are starting to wake up and they're realizing, hey, I keep voting and we're not getting anywhere. As a matter of fact, we're regressing. And we're starting to wake up and they're starting to see that. And they started to see that, CJ. And I don't have to tell you this, but they started to see that in 2016. There was a lot of Black people like myself that left the Democratic Party and became independents when you had a Black president who did an executive order for dreamers, did executive orders and passed laws for gays, billions of dollars to our allies and all this other stuff, and did not do one thing for Black people. And as we saw in this election cycle, I don't know why people keep saying that Obama is talking down the Black people like this is something new. He's always talked down the Black people. See, this is why we keep talking so that people don't go back to sleep. And they keep realizing as they're doing an autopsy and they start looking at the facts. A lot of stuff that we were saying, CJ, and even you were saying it. If you look at the autopsy that they're starting to do, now they're admitting Kamala was a bad candidate, and matter of fact, they're trying to blame Black women. Well, if we didn't make Kamala the representative, Black people wouldn't have voted, and blah 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 blah, and we couldn't have done a primary. Well, why wouldn't you do a primary? Because she's a bad candidate. See, everybody knows she wouldn't have made it out of a primary, even if it was a lightning primary, right? CJ says Black folks want to be seen and heard, too busy trying to be cute. Exactly. Just like we wear our wealth and we flaunt our wealth, which means we're basically poor, to try to fool everybody, right? But now her co-campaign manager, or was he your campaign or whatever, the vice chair, whatever of her campaign, I put it on my Facebook page. He admitted that if the Black women wouldn't have it, well, if that's the case, young man, because I'm older than him, if that's the case, young man, you should have invoked Article 25. Again, let's talk politics, you guys. See how I'm talking and I'm bringing up stuff? Some of you guys, what's Article 25? Go look it up. Demetra and I always say this. Don't listen to what we say. Research what we say. They should have invoked Article 25, since you're going to move Biden out of the way anyway, made her president. Ooh, the first Black woman president. She would have been more legit. 96% of incumbency always wins an election. When you're an incumbent, you have a 96% chance of winning re-election as the incumbent. So she's the president. We can kind of see what she's doing, whatever. I still don't think that she would have beaten Trump. But the point is, she would have been more legitimate. You can't run around here talking about democracies at stake when you didn't even let the people decide and put this person through a primary. We need to talk more about politics and stop being ignorant in our communities uh, about politics. Above and beyond and forever. What up, Donovan in chat? Hey, above and beyond air. Good to have you here. These are like little things that we're doing to kind of keep everybody getting people's different ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, CJ says it didn't move in order. Exactly. But at least that way she would have been more legitimate. You know what I mean? If she had been installed and legally, you can't say it was a coup or something like that. The man was out of his mind. Everybody agrees Joe Biden was not up. He isn't up to the task. So everybody would have been more accepting of her as the vice president moving into the presidency. Wow, historic first, blah, blah, blah. She's a stronger candidate, blah, blah, blah. And she's already the president. See what I'm saying? I don't think she would have beat Trump. But the point is, all of these symbolism goals would have been met if they had done it that way. But they didn't. They knew this woman, it was a bad candidate. It's all coming out. And, the left, all these Democrat shills, they're still pissed. Why you guys keep bringing stuff up? Because it's our turn to spike the ball. When we were telling everybody what was going on, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so, we can't express ourselves. So like in a Super Bowl, now that I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. There is nobody more delusional than a Dallas Cowboy fan. Nobody more delusional than a Dallas Cowboy. And we think we're going to the Super Bowl every year. We're going to go next year because it's been 30 years. Next year will be 30 years since the Cowboys won a championship. We're going next year. I know it. We're going. But if they had done it that way, people would have been more accepting of it because the man was out of his mind. Above, Beyond, and Forever says January 20th, can't get here quick enough. Hopefully Joe doesn't start World War III. Exactly. I don't know if it sounds like you've been keeping up on what's going on. It's alleged that Israel is like moving in on Damascus and making an offensive move toward Damascus. So that's going to be interesting because if Israel is actually doing that, that is going to make the Arab world and the Muslim world turn and defend Damascus against Israel. So it's kind of scary. You've got that right. CJ says, Damon Reeves, my fellow veteran. Yes. Shalom, FB, B1 family, and all that other great stuff. Yes, yes, yes. So we don't want people to fall back to sleep. At this point, we got to talk more politics, talk more policy, talk where we want to go, even if it's a dream. I have a Negro that stopped. He was one of the ones that stopped the reparations here in California. He's my representative. These Negroes are so scared of their constituents, they're not even doing live in-person town halls. They're going to do virtual where they can control it and people can't really express themselves because you can mute them and mic them and stuff like that. So, but I'm still going to show up and still be there to do that. And we got to do that. We've got to talk more politics and know the issues. Maxine Waters. People say, well, how did Maxine Waters get reelected and her district is mostly Hispanic now? Think about it. If you're doing Hispanic supremacy and you're doing everything the Hispanics want you to do, why would they get rid of you? Politics. See, we got to talk common sense type stuff here, you guys. Common sense. I wouldn't get rid of her either. She let her own 60% of the people in South Central Los Angeles, where that stadium was built, 60% of the Black people got displaced. And those are the people that you see in downtown LA that are homeless and stuff. They got public domain. They were given $250,000, whatever the fair market value of Big Mama's house was. And of course, Big Mama didn't teach the younger generation financing and money and all that other stuff. And so they took the $250,000 and of course they smoked it up and bought cars and jewelry and everything like that. And then they ended up homeless. It's just really, really crazy, you know? It's insane. So what the new black media has decided to do is we're not gonna shut up until till it's over. Now that the Donald Trump is in office, and it was funny when I was talking to my friend real quick. It was funny because he was like, "Well, you're always talking about Kamala and the Democrats and this, that. I never hear you talk about the Republicans." This is why we got to talk about politics, you guys. A lot of you guys have been watching Demetra and I for 8 years at least. We've been doing this almost 10 years, I would say. I left the Democratic 2016. Yeah, a little over, yeah, almost 10 years now. So, so I told them, I said, you act like I just picked up a microphone on this election cycle and just started hammering Kamala Harris and the Democrats. Go back to the videos on YouTube, this platform here, and you will see videos of Demetra and I talking about Donald Trump and policies and this and what the Democrats aren't doing and how they're not fighting or whatever, whatever. We're an equal opportunity criticism platform. Whichever party does not do for black people, we are going to talk about them. And of course, they always go to their go-to. Well, what do you think the Republicans are going to do for you? Nothing. Republicans aren't going to. I don't expect the Republicans to do anything for me. Matter of fact, I don't see Republicans trying to get my vote at all. They ain't knocking on my door. They're not worried about me. They don't come to me every 2 and 4 years promising me this and that and that and this and then not delivering. I even had a friend tell me, oh, wait, and he even brought that up. He goes, well, Trump, it doesn't have any black people in his cabinet. Hmm. Why would you care if Trump has any black people in his cabinet? You're a Democrat. Hardcore. Why would you care as a Democrat if he has black people in his cabinet or not? But I'll do you one better. Biden had a bunch of black people in his cabinet. What did black people get? Let's talk politics, you guys. Let's talk politics. This is why we need to talk politics. Whole bunch of black people in his cabinet. For 2 years, controlled the House and the Senate. What did black people get? What did black people get? I'll wait. Let's talk politics. Let's talk politics. I'll wait. And again, he didn't understand the numbers about the black people that left. He's under the assumption that 22% of the black people voted for Donald Trump. That's not true. 22% of people did not vote for Donald Trump. They'd say it's between 15 and 16% of people voted for Donald Trump. Most people sat the couch or voted third party. Let's talk politics, you guys. See, this is the type of stuff we got to start doing and having these conversations to some of these people that are at least open to listening to facts rather than their feelings. And CJ, you being a poli sci person, you should be having your own platform as well. I'm just saying, because you're very knowledgeable, and also talking about these things. So yeah, it's getting one of those. It's getting to that situation. We need to talk more about politics, not less. This is why black people are in the position they are. I did a lot of time in the military, 24 years, right? And I'm going to tell you, when I would go to my white friends' homes, they're talking politics. They're talking their money and they're talking politics. That's what they're talking. You go to the black person's home, we talking hoes, we talking Jay-Z, the newest album. We're talking sports. I mean, that's all good and great. But what about the important things? You know, taxes at the school board, education, just things like that. Damon Reeves says, facts. FBA has left the Democratic plantation. CJ, yes. CJ says, I know, Mr. D, it's coming. God is not letting me off with it, without it. Yep. Serious. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're a younger person too, so you're definitely you're definitely gonna have more of an influence on the the generation that you're in versus the generation that I'm in. We're already cooked. So it's just crazy. But you go to the black person's house, and we're not talking about that. There was a person that came on the show earlier this morning, and they were talking about, well, Trump is going to get rid of the education. Let's talk politics, you guys. If we're all in agreement that the education system in the United States is crap, when you've got kids in Chicago and I think some down in the South somewhere that can't even read to the level that they're supposed to be on. And this is what happens when you give a participation trophy to kids in this era. And what do I mean by participation trophy? When I was in school overseas, this was overseas in Japan, what my high school would do, and high school was from seventh grade, well, it's technically junior high, but it's from seventh grade to 12th, right? Oldest school in the Department of Defense. Oldest school in the Department of Defense. If you didn't handle your business as a student, because everything ran down from your parents and stuff, what you did affected your parents because it's a military situation. But what this school would do was, let's say you don't have enough credits to graduate, because you've been screwing around, you've been ditching school, whatever, playing sick, whatever. And this. The counselor will sit you down and say, well, you don't have enough to graduate, whatever. But if you feel you want to walk with your fellow classmates, they will let you walk with your fellow classmates. They had no problem with that because it's not their issue. So, you get the cap and gown and you order all the invitations out. Now, your parents probably aren't aware of what's going on because you're not telling them and they're too busy or they're TDY or whatever they're doing. And I remember my brother, he's more hands-on type person. He's not a dumb person, but he's not a book smart person. I'm book smart. And he was graduating. And our school had a reputation of doing this. So I'm looking at him on the stage. My brother was sweating bullets because he wasn't sure if he was going to graduate, right? But he was going to graduate because there's no doubt he's going to graduate. But our school had a reputation of doing that. And so we had these people that would sit up there and they'd go through the graduation, families flown in from, the United States. Maybe he had a relative that came in from the United States and they would come in and, we're all there. Now, remember, the school puts a lot of emphasis on you as the student. If you're not interested, they're not interested. If your parents aren't interested, they're not interested. We had cases of people, as they're calling the names, let's say your last name is Boyd. They get to the A's and they go, you know, Arnold, right? Then they go to the B's and they go, uh, Battle, so on, so on. Then they get to the C's and you're still sitting there. You're still sitting there. And they would just continue on with the program. They had no concern of you being embarrassed or whatever, because that's on you. And I guess a lot of schools were doing that back in the day. And it was, and the mothers, and I got to say, it's the moms. Oh, it's just not right because it makes the kid feel so badly. Oh, you want the kid to graduate with his classmates. It's not good to hold him back. When I was coming up, you didn't want to, you did your schoolwork because you wanted to stay with your class. That was the whole point. And our school would actually let you sit up there and make a damn fool of yourself as you didn't graduate. And then as the ceremony's going on, once they called all the names, all the students were called. You're just sitting there on the stage like then your parents and your friends are in the audience going like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then that's when the parents would be like, what do you mean my child didn't graduate? And they would just say, hey, look, come Monday, we're going to show you everything you need to know. And that's, it, That's the era I was growing in. But then we got this participation era where, oh well, it's so embarrassing. Yeah, the kids need to be embarrassed. Bring shame back to the community. They need to be embarrassed. If you're not going to do the work, hey, stop wasting the school's time because other people do want to do the work. So, we need to get back to that, and we need to start talking more politics in school. And I've always said this. I've always said this. That's my dog. I've always said this. Why is it that they do not emphasize civics in school? We should be being taught civics and our rights from first grade up until 12th grade, up until through college. That's just something you should be able to take and be better an understanding of how to be a good citizen here in the United States. But why aren't we taught that way? We're not, because they don't want you to know your rights. I tell people all the time when dealing with police, do not let them in your home. Do not, when a cop asks you a question, do not answer it because they are now investigating something. Just stuff like that. So we're going to continue to put these little pieces out in the YouTube world, the new black media, the new black media that's causing all of these problems. We're not getting paid $350,000, $500,000. We're going to continue to do this and have these quick conversations with you guys, and you guys, tell us what's up, so that people don't go back to sleep. Because I'm always learning stuff from you guys, especially the younger people. CJ, I know I'm older than you, so I know that. Uh, but I could always learn from these younger people because the future, I'm not fighting for my future. I mean, I live in California. I could afford to live here. God willing, and I'm God blessed, right? I'm not fighting for me. I could easily go overseas and just do what I was doing, right? I'm fighting for my legacy. I'm fighting for the future. My grandkids, I don't have any, but my grandkids right now cannot afford a home. I'm in California. $800,000 is a median. That's the median for a home in California. Where are my grandkids going to get $800,000? They're definitely not going to get it from me. This is where we're at, and this is what I try to tell people the reality. Black people, we love to tell ourselves stuff that isn't true. It's almost like we're in this fantasy land. We've been watching like Power and all these shows, and we're just these reality shows, and we're fantasizing too much. But reality is here. Winter is here now, literally. And they want you guys to go back to sleep, and that's what they're mad about. And we won't let you guys go back to sleep. That's for damn sure. We won't let you guys go back to sleep. So just something real quick. Do not forget to tune in to Dimitri and I later on this afternoon. I'm trying to figure out something here. Oh, I like this sound. I love that sound. I don't know what it is. Damon says 10 toes down in dirt. Yep, California. Yeah, California is, like I said, this is the blueprint, Damon. This is the blueprint. This is how you marginalize Black people. You do what California did. You gentrify them economically, you gentrify them politically where they have no voice, and you just push them out. You just push them out with other groups coming in and pushing them out. I don't know if you guys, maybe it's just me. I look at TV and I don't really watch a lot of TV, but when I do, even on YouTube, the commercials, I remember 4 years ago, you didn't really see a lot of Asians in commercials. Now once they got that bill, you see a lot of Asians now. And again, I was raised with Asians, so I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is I'm seeing how we've been marginalized, and I don't know how other people can't see it. Above and Beyond and Forever says, I live in Tampa and people are still buying houses like crazy. The average price for a single family home is $600K. How they are able to afford it is beyond me. What I would think that they're doing, Above, Beyond, and Forever. And I love Tampa area. God, McDill Air Force Base. I love that base. Oh my God, I love that base. I couldn't get stationed there. But what I think they're doing, they're still doing the predatory lending type thing, especially when it comes to Black people. They love to predatory lend to Black people, and unfortunately, because we have a lot of single family homes in the Black community, and I'm not saying women aren't smart because, like I said, I was raised by a widowed mother, and I'm telling you, my mom was smart and is still smart as a whip and didn't take no shit. Okay, army, she's a army type woman. She's was in the army, and women in general, it's like going to a car dealership without a man. They see these women come up, and all you got to do is say this and say these big words. And not all women, because like I said, CJ probably isn't one of those type because she's that new generation. But I can speak for my generation and the older generation. It didn't take much to take advantage of a woman who doesn't seem to be really up on things. I used to joke with a girlfriend of mine, friend. She'd come bring me her car, because I'm mechanically inclined, and she would say, "Oh, Donovan, can you take a look at my car?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And I would joke with her, and I would say, "Oh, your your carburetor lits is off." And she like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, you see it right here." And I just show her some bullshit, and again, "Oh, yeah, 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 I see it, whatever." She's just trying to save face. And she goes, "Well, how much is that going to cost?" I said, "About $100." And she would pay it. Not that I would take it, but she was willing to pay the $100, not knowing what she was looking at. I see that a lot in women who buy homes, especially here in California. There was a lot of predatory lending that happened here in California. And guess who was the attorney general during that time? Kamala Harris. How many banks did Kamala Harris prosecute for predatory lending practices? Zero. So here's a woman who works at Taco Bell. She wants to get her kids out of the hood. She wants to move to the suburbs. They give her a back end type leasing thing, where it's a balloon payment. And then the banks basically foreclosed on the house. The first payment she missed, which she definitely could not afford. Next thing you know, here in California, they were bulldozing brand new homes because the banks didn't want to keep them up. So they was just cheaper just to bulldoze them and just keep the lot. You know. So yeah, man. Look, above, beyond, and forever. I'm jealous of you. Tampa was just, I just love that area. And then where the base was, I would go to the exchange, and there, they had that little pond there, like right. It was just beautiful, just the landscaping of the base and how they did it. It was just, woo, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. I had a cousin that was stationed there too, and then she got pregnant, got out of the military. But hey, Michelle W. Um, Love Tampa. Tampa's great. The only thing I hate about Tampa and I hate about the South is the hurricanes. I hate the hurricanes, but again, people say they hate earthquakes, right? So, but the thing about earthquakes is you don't know when they're coming. See, so it's like Jesus, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. When you have hurricane season, I can't do that. I can't. I can't. I can't. But Tampa, when I was a single man, that was legendary. I tell you, legendary. But yeah, so we're going to keep talking about these things and keep you guys abreast. And we're going to be encouraging, people like CJ to, get her podcast going. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a video cast like this. I call this video cast. But go and get you a little mic and whatever. And you know, I encourage younger people because a lot of people don't want to be on camera. Just start a podcast and just start talking, and then you share that podcast, and we all share it, and we just get the information out there. We're not going to save everybody, but we're going to save some people. But locally, like I tell people, get in it. It's amazing how people can tell you what's going on nationally, but they can't tell you what's going on in their city. They can't tell you who their representative is, who their alderman is, who their city council person is. They could barely tell you who the mayor is, but they're going to tell you about politics. It's amazing. All right, you guys, I'm going to go and run some errands real quick, do some stuff, and we're going to see you guys at 3 o'clock on the Demetri K Show. Please join us there. I'm going to really start getting into this stream. I know my background being the green screen. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm gonna try to fix something up and make it a little bit more green screenish. You know what I mean? So again, stay blessed, you guys. Stay armed for your security and for your protection, and be prayed up. Talk to you guys in about 2 hours.